take the things that are going on right now in your life and to help you move forward. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about the physical aspects of how COVID and the situation of being locked in one place has really encumbered our mindset to somewhat stray off. And we're going to talk about that physical energy. I am not a very active person, and I'm not going to deny that I don't like to exercise, but I love to eat. And I tell you what, during this time, I've had to really, really center in on my physical aspects of who I am, not only as a person, but who I like to be afterwards. And so, in that, I've also had to put a lock on my refrigerator, if that makes sense, because I know that I'm limited to a lot of things that I typically do on a daily basis, like walk, because of not wanting to get out in the environment of other people. And I can't lie and say that I'm not fearful, but I also know that if I allow fear to attack my physicality, then I won't come out and rebound on top and move forward where we all need to be right now. And so, a couple of things that I have incorporated in my life, I've gone outside and in my backyard, and I've exercised the physical aspects of my body. And then I try to maintain a good diet so that I do not lapse into a place that I don't want to be. That means eating healthy. And so, moving forward, we have to think about that. Being who we are, mostly African Americans are centered for this from physicality aspects of not taking care of our bodies and what we eat. And so, in order to move forward, hopefully, out of this, we will readjust and reset and know that what we did before, we can't do now in order to move forward. So, that's focusing on health, that's focusing on activity, moving more, and doing things that better impact our health versus what we did in the past. The second thing that I want to stress with you, if you want to reset and move forward, we're talking about emotional energy. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, talking about fear, I'm not a fearful person, but due to the fact that I can't control others and I can only control myself, fear comes on top of the surface. Fear, when I'm out in public, and I have been out in public with mask on and gloves on, I'm afraid of what other people may not do, like wear their gloves and their mask. And so, in that emotional state, I have to know that with fear comes prayer. And if you don't have prayer and faith, then you're going to stay in fear. And so we can't let that fear encumber again who we want to be tomorrow, because tomorrow will come. Today is just temporary, and we have to understand and realize that in the temporary state that we're in, that if we allow those things that are holding us back right now, it won't allow us to move forward. So emotionally, we must stay connected to a higher source and a higher power. And in that higher source and higher power, we must realize, what do we want tomorrow? And do you want to have more faith? I think right now we're all centered upon having more faith. And what does faith look like to you? And it looks different for everybody. I find myself more in consultation with myself and in my family, letting them know what my desires are. I was talking to a family the other day, and we were talking about, what does tomorrow look like for you? And we were talking about wills. And I was so surprised that most people don't have a will set up in their life. And that's something that I do in my business. I help people get prepared financially today and tomorrow. And it's helping them to start, market, grow, and profit where they are today, so tomorrow can be totally different what they have today. Thinking of longevity, thinking of tomorrow. People are stressed, they've lost their jobs, they don't know what tomorrow looks like. I go back to the fact that physical and emotional, when you're talking about that and stress, we really have to focus in on our faith, because emotionally we're drained. I'm tired of sitting behind four walls. Even though I'm thankful and grateful that I have four walls to sit behind, we're tired of that. And people are getting uncomfortable. People are getting antsy. They're going back into the streets and things that they used to do because they're uncomfortable. But you got to learn, you got to refocus, you got to center in on what it is that you need to do to move forward. Then we talk about the spiritual. As I go back to the other three things that I've mentioned, nothing takes away from your spirituality. If you focus in on what's important, who your faith believer is, and what gets you through and to your next destination, wherever it is in life, you want to stay spiritually bounded. You want to make sure that you release anything that you know that will hold you back tomorrow, today. Because if you use all of that energy right now to stay in prison to what it is that's holding you back, again, tomorrow you won't be able to move forward. And the last thing that I want to mention to you is talking about monetary. Right now people are understanding that they can't do what they did yesterday. So many people, as I mentioned, lost their jobs. People don't have money, and people are waiting on the government to take care of them. If we don't prepare for today, tomorrow will look bleak as it does today. Therefore, we must set up multiple streams of income. We must understand that we cannot no longer exist on one form of income, because that one form of income keeps us in a destitute situation that a lot of people are in now. I was looking at the news earlier, and they were talking about people, Missouri in particular, is getting ready to lose the unemployment. Illinois already broke and they don't have any money. And so we really have to not only put our finances in the hands of ourselves, we cannot allow other people to control that. We are that person, that family that has to control our finances. So when we're talking about moving forward, we need to pay attention to the physical energy that we're giving out, the emotional energy that we're sharing. Don't talk negative, talk positive, talk in the affirmative of things that you expect to happen, and they will happen. You have to learn how to speak over situations. And then that mental, we can't sit in a depressed situation no matter what it looks like. We have to look at the future and what we're talking about moving forward. I think I'm out of time right now. I can barely see that with my glasses on, but I'm wrapping this up, and I want you to be mindful that in order to move forward, you have to put perspective into place and understand that it's up to you to move and not be stuck where you are today. Toastmasters, honored guests, fellow people, thank you so much. I apologize. I haven't done this in a while. Thank you so much.
We certainly want to thank Toastmaster Michelle for overcoming whatever technical problems that she had, because we certainly did need to hear what she had to say. So I would like for the timer to give us our report on her time of speech, please.
I know it's over.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So Michelle's speech time was 5 to 7 minutes, and she spoke for 7 minutes and 23 seconds, and she does qualify.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So now give us a minute on the clock. We